Peter? All right. Okay, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Duluth CSD regular meeting of the Board of Directors on this date, February 21st, 2024. This meeting is now called to order. Let's begin with roll call. Bowman.
Here.
Carroll.
Here.
D'Alessandro. Rawson.
Here.
Roberts here. Pledge of allegiance, everybody.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, let's begin this meeting. Agenda item B, the sheriff's report. Deputy Sam Perez, welcome.
Good evening.
Hi, Sam.
Good evening.
Say hello, Sam.
Okay, looking at the last page here was pretty good in terms of incidents. The main stuff that was going on in our district right now has been avocado theft. And luckily we have our RCT, the rural crime team that's looking into it right now. We also had an incident occurred a week ago where if you recall, a few years ago, before that, there was a loud noise complaint. And when neighbors got tired of the loud noise, we decided to shoot a shotgun in the direction of that house. And then we in turn responded. He told us what he did. We in turn arrested him. Well, we had a similar incident happen again, but this time, property owner was upset that people were on his property in the water field. Contacted and say, get off my freaking property. Like if they wouldn't move fast enough, so he pulled out a pistol and as a warning shot, shot into the ground. So he in turn was arrested and became a guest at our jail. So once again, with firearms, they're not toys. Make sure you know the laws pertain to them. And just know that when the round goes up, it's come down somewhere. So that other thing, also, a good side note, we got more flock cameras now on Duluth Road. We have 2 more on Duluth Road. That's one of our pluses. Also, I was talking to Charles Bandy with McMillan, and looking about putting another flock camera on Los Gatos. That will take care of the egress out of Los Gatos, because as been reported in the past, a lot of our theft comes in from that area, IED, Paris, Mead Valley, etc. So that's another positive. Okay, I'll be replaced on the Hill, so my replacement is here today. But before I do so, I just want to show my appreciation. And just know that I'm older now, I'm older, and when I watch sad commercials, I kind of cry sometimes, so. Bear with me.
Wait a minute, I think I had.
Don't expect me to cry, but I'm saying that I'm more sensitive now. So it's getting old sometimes.
It happens.
The benefit is that you don't die when you get older. But I just wanted to say thank you, to everybody here. The community, when I say community, I refer to the board, the POAs, the workers, and the residents. Everybody here is very supportive of me, and because of that, they provide me with information that they witnessed, or that they came to provide me with their videos of incidents that occurred in our area. That has allowed me to solve crimes. So I encourage people to come forward with information that we have in the past in terms of suspicious vehicles, versus etc. That information has led to the arrest of 2 of our main subjects. So it's about how like 2% of property causes so much drama. One of those 2 got arrested, and actually 1 fled to Oregon. Thank God. Our crime diminished a lot in terms of our groves, theft of oil, gas, batteries, and fruit. So, and that's all because of the community taking me in, which I appreciate. It's good to see also because that recently built, I recall being here a few times and someone saying, God, why is there always so many skunks on the road? It smells skunks all the time out here. And I was like, no, ma'am, those are not skunks, that's marijuana. And people at that point started coming forward and telling me, hey, I saw it over here, and lo and behold, it was there. That goes back to our situation we built, and I'm very happy about that. I'm also happy about everybody on the board. Some of you were actually on this side when I first started, now you're up there. Debbie, okay. Jim has been here for the whole time to deal with me, and nobody got to me waves. But everybody's been very supportive. Teresa, you're actually the last man standing.
I am from the
Yeah.
old crew, holdover.
Yeah.
I'm getting old too.
So, we got TJ over here, Nikki, I'm sorry, Nick. I just want to say that, they've been very helpful with me in terms of like this last rain that we had a few weeks ago where water's been everywhere causing damage. We've kind of an understanding where I photographed the incident, send them a pin drop, and then in turn will respond and take care of the issue. That way it's resolved. This last time I wasn't aware that TJ was out sick. So all the other text messages were going to him, and he in turn was forwarding over to Nikki. It got wet apparently. My apologies. It is what it is.
Part of the job.
Yeah. So, I think I spoke about everybody. Sorry. Isabel.
Jessica's
Yes.
homesick.
And Jessica,
Yeah.
once again, thank you guys for like, whenever anything would arise, you guys would contact directly, to deal with it. So,
We're gonna miss you.
Jesse, you too, if you're up there somewhere, not way up there, but up there. TV land. So, that concludes my, my report and my farewell. And once again, thank you very much. With that being said, I want to use, Sean Poyer, with my farm, obviously, and he'll be taking my place.
Not yet, you're gonna be taking me around a little bit. My name's Sean Poyer, I've been a deputy for 16 years. Prior to that, I was in the Marine Corps for 10 years, I did 2 combat tours to Iraq. I have 3 Purple Hearts. I have a wife, 2 children. I started out my career in Lake Elsinore. I actually worked a lot in La Cresta. Then I went to Hemet Station, I worked Hemet, all Anza, Alonga, Nuevo, and then I was a fire engine instructor for 5 years at the Riverside County Training Center. From there I went to Paris, worked Paris, went back to Hemet. I was assigned to the mountain station, so I only worked Idlewild and Anza. They opened up a new station and it was different environment because you had snowfall, you had mountain passes that need to be cleared, things of that nature. Then I was fortunate enough to get assigned to the Rural Crime Unit. So I was in the Rural Crime Unit for about 30 years. I authored around 50 search warrants of various different types, from high-tech electronic ones, chasing phones, plates and trackers on cars, geofence warrants, and just regular residence warrants. We were up here doing avocado theft and we recovered some vehicles from down the line. As soon as I do get the phone, they are going to issue a county phone to this position from now on. That will be available to 24/7. Okay. I have big shoes to fill, and he has been very available to all of you. That is not going to change. That will remain the same. I may not answer at 3 in the morning. I may, but I'm putting the caveat out there that I won't. I won't turn the ringer off. The ringer will be on that phone all the time. So I will hear it and I will field the call. Regardless if I'm on vacation, I'm off, whatever, I will answer that phone or get back to you within at least 3 hours. Okay, so that's not going to change. If you called him, you should call me. It's not going to change anything in that aspect. I'm just excited to work for you guys. My father-in-law actually has been up here for the last 30 years. He has an apiary. He's a beekeeper and he's been housing his bees up here for as long as I've known him, for 30 years. On all over this Duluth community. But yeah, no, I'm excited to work for you guys. Just, you can ask Andy Demagoni, John Glass, McMillan. I've worked for them, all the dairies out on Ramona Express, John Uston, Michael Uston. they could reach me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And so will you. Okay, do you have any questions for me?
Sean, welcome.
Thanks, sir.
You're right, you've got a tough act to follow. He's very respected in the area, and everybody up here has loved him. We're gonna miss him, but we're gonna welcome you too.
Right, so I mean, he did nothing, it's just our department it's on an influx right now of all kinds of changes, of moving up. Just 6 months ago, they promoted like 35 sergeants to lieutenant. So that created a huge void, and there's all kinds of movement going on. And it was decided that it's going to happen now so that we can get somebody in position now rather than any other time. So. Nothing further? I will be riding, will be a 2-man ride for the next 2 weeks. So you're gonna see a lot of us roaming around and coming bugging you and shaking the hands and kissing the babies. Okay?
Alrighty, before y'all
I
read it.
spoke to the captain yesterday, and my issue with him is that, you know, in a transition like this, after as many years as Sam's been here, that it would have been nice if we'd had some notice and could have had input. And as Sean just mentioned, they're gonna be a 2-man car for 2 weeks, which I had requested 4. Because I said, now, if you had called me a month ago, I could have told you how to do the transition. We may not be happy about change, none of us ever are,
Right.
but we should have talked this through. And one thing I would say about the unique, every community is unique, but with Duluth, and I said when I met Sean a few minutes ago, I know you're a good cop, but your boss told me you're a good cop. But what you gotta learn is to lose, and you have to learn the people. And Sam knows everybody up there. And so, and I told Sam, he better get hustling, because he's got a lot of people to make the introduction, and that will make the transition work. And he spoke very highly of Sean, Sam too, but so your boss thinks you guys are doing pretty darn good, by the way, but anyhow, and then, you know, after COVID, you know, we lost our lieutenant, he retired during that time. So they're gonna assign someone, because this conversation would have happened if Bruce would have been here. I mean, we didn't know about this earlier, and I shouldn't have let it go, so I said, you know, when I didn't have my lieutenant, I should have called and said, hey. Anyway, I think we need to develop our relations with the new captain. And it seems, listen, that's not good. Didn't like the subject we were talking about. So he's agreed to 2 weeks and maybe more. I asked for more. He said, let's get to 2 weeks and see where we're at. So anyway, and then we need to meet the captain. So maybe the next meeting he can come, or maybe we'll do a special meeting, and, you know, we can all a little better. So that's
Comments from directors, anything to add to Jim?
You like avocados?
No, I do, very much so. So much so, I was like 5.
You'll fit in fine.
Yeah, no, like I said, my father-in-law was a beekeeper. They're all in the almonds right now. So all 20,000 designs are up there. So no, I'm familiar with avocados, and we did a lot of avocados. We're familiar with all the packing houses. But yes.
Anybody else like to add before I close on this comment here? Okay, yes, thank you very much, Jim, in terms of having the conversation with the captain. And I said, better you than me, because I was not a very happy camper. And my conversation would have been completely different. And, but with all due respect, you know, the sheriff's organization is a respected organization, just as we are. And so in terms of my only concerns and issues was a lack of communication, mutual professionalism and respect. You know, something just kind of lands on your lap. When we've had somebody such as Deputy Perez here for the amount of time that we have had. He's had a great impact on the community as well as this board here. And once the community is aware of this transition, I already warned Jim here that, you know, we're going to receive some phone calls and so on and so forth, and we will explain as best as we can. So really, the disappointment has to do with the lack of communication and the untimeliness of this. And if it had been a month ago, we would be better prepared to answer to the community, to the residents. So that's where my disappointment is. Now, Sam, obviously, we've been very happy with you, very comfortable with you. You know, everybody up on the hill. There isn't anything I know that you haven't done for us. You've done everything for us. And you are going to be, I need my Kleenex now. I will cry. We are certainly going to miss you, but still, you are also a friend. So please continue to come by, pop up, visit us. You know, all the activities that take place here. And for Sean, not only will you gain knowledge, further knowledge about the CSD by attending the CSD, but also getting to know the community through the HOA meetings I know that Sam has attended. And we also have other community gatherings. You know, once a year we do an annual community picnic. The Women's Club has various meetings whereby the sheriffs have attended. We're also looking here in the near future, which Jim and I are having a conversation on, is having another community gathering similar to what we did back in 2020. And so, for example, we had Supervisor Jeffries there, we had you there, we had Bruce there, if I remember correctly. Bruce was there. And so, so again, and that was a large gathering for the community. So there's opportunities for you to be able to get to know us each a little bit better. And so on behalf of all of us here, definitely, like Chuck said, welcome. And please don't be hesitant, you know, talking to Jim, talking to any of us, any way that we can help you integrate into our community, just let us know. So we do welcome you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else on this subject matter, folks?
No.
Okay, all righty. Okay, we'll move on then. Okay, agenda item C, public comments. Anybody today? Okay, very good. Okay, legislative topics. Cyrus, I know I saw him a moment ago.
There he is.
Okay,
I'm here.
welcome. You're next on the agenda, young man.
All right. Oh, I love it when you call me young man. Makes my day. Okay, so I obviously my role here is to give an update on the bill, but I want to kind of rush through it because I got some fun stuff to talk about. So we have SB 1173, and it is introduced, and Sarato's staffer and I are going to meet with a committee consultant tomorrow at 1. She has been very warm and very welcoming, and it's almost kind of making me apprehensive. Is like, you know, this how the spider gets the fly on the web. It's like, oh, don't worry, it's not sticky. But she's being really nice. When Jim and I met with her, we got kind of the bit of the cold shoulder, but it's well, the evidence is we've made headway in the breakthroughs with, you know, with the staff. The County of Riverside seem to have maybe opened up some doors. We'll know tomorrow after 1 o'clock. Other than that, not a lot to report. We're in the period where a bill cannot be amended or heard under the Constitution. When you introduce a bill, which this one was introduced on, I believe, the 18th, for 30 days, you may not amend or have a bill heard. So we're in that period right now, but it allows us to get this background work done. So that is 1173 Sarto. So far, so good. Okay, now the fun part. So organic waste. So I don't know if everyone just woke up last year and read the regulations for the first time and said, oh, Mike, you want me to do what? And then started planning legislation. But I have no less than I have 5 bills and counting dealing with exemptions from the organic waste recovery law. We have 1175, alternatives to census tracts. Remember that issue? You're so close to Temecula, you didn't count for that. Well, there's a bill out there saying we'll look for an alternative to a census tract. We have SB 1232, partial exemptions. So if you're within a county and you have an area of the county that has a low population census, to give a partial exemption to that county. We have AB 1214, counties with less than 70,000 people are exempted. We have AB 2658, exempts food processing plants that don't divert organic waste. And then this is actually a good one. So good that, I think I might write this up for you guys to consider supporting. AB 2902, rural exemptions will be indefinite. So instead of renewed every 5 years. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. But I have to laugh because it's like, did everyone just notice that there's these regulations taking effect? It's like, I'm just feeling, you can hear the sound of the bullet we dodged. Thank goodness we didn't wait. We'd be on this raft with these 5 other bills. And, if a calorie cycle, was maybe hoping that our little bill would not trigger a landslide, it kind of looks like the worst fears have come true. And just the illogic of the regulations are now just like, writ large in public. It's like everybody's got a problem with these regulations. But kudos to us. We got our ducks in a row, got our bill done. We're good. Seems like everybody else wants to jump on the train. So congrats to us. And yeah, I think I will. I will, though. I think maybe one, even 2 of these bills you guys might want to consider supporting. And if you do, if you want to adopt a support position, I'll get a letter ready and I'll go do the footwork and we'll say, good job following our lead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great news.
Start the letter that way.
I have a question, comment. First of all, Senator Stiardo told us that he had approached another community to join with us on the bill, and they said, no, we don't want to be bothered. I don't know whether they're part of one of those 5, but he was surprised by that and said that he was going to take some further action on the bill and maybe include some other counties. The question I have for you relates to the other bill, the tax bill, the gas tax bill. When do you expect that to go to committee for a vote? When do you expect it to go from committee to the floor, if all goes well, and the Senate to vote? And when do you expect that to go to the House? And then the House will take a vote. And when do you expect that to eventually be passed and sent to the governor?
I have all those answers written down right here.
I'm glad.
I actually could speculate, but in truth, the consultant that we're going to meet with tomorrow, she's really going to set the agenda for kind of the future of the bill, because she is going to make a decision as to how far along we are with our background work, what time she wants to analyze the bill and hear it. She could, looking at the schedule, she could, in theory, hear it as early as, well, in theory, this bill could be heard the week of March 18th. It's 30 days would be up on Monday, and this committee meets Wednesday, I believe. So in theory, it could be up as early as March 20th. That would be the earliest possible date, though. It's unlikely. The latest possible date is the last week of April. They come back. Then we have the policy committee deadline. So it really is up to consultant. And there's about a month window in which it could be heard, and when it's heard in that window is going to dictate the rest of the process. The earlier you go, the faster you move. So the later you go, the more you're in with the crowd, the procrastinators, and the hard bills to work out, and you're on with longer agendas. So it's kind of like go early and go fast, or go late and go long. And we will have a better idea tomorrow.
Okay. Any other questions?
Good.
Sounds good.
Go ahead.
You have a second? Cyrus, you
Oh,
have a
sure,
minute?
you,
Okay, you're meeting with my friend Melissa.
Melissa White.
Melissa and I didn't get along very well last time. She insulted you and us. And this is what I want to touch on. I'm loading your revolver here for tomorrow. I finished your project, by the way, and it's gonna be scanned before Isabel leaves. But I learned a lot in the last couple of days preparing this information that Melissa White, the Senate committee person, asked for. And it ties back to when I was red-faced and angry, Senator Crawford, that she's taking out a paper and reading all this stuff against us, that our roads aren't the standards. We don't maintain them properly. They're not, same width as the county. The county does a fabulous job. We do a crummy job. Just on and on and on of garbage, okay? So she's essentially asking for the same thing. So I've gotten this boiled down, and I actually learned a few things. Wow, just an hour ago, helped me with something. When we went through the process of trying to negotiate with the county and have the lawyer from Orange County, the county council guy, Brian, we determined that those roads, we don't own those roads. Everybody thinks we do. Those are owned by the county of Riverside because these documents, these old tattered 50-year-old documents, the one thing, there's transfer of the roads to us, but there is no title change. So the developer granted the county that real estate. When they built those roads, they granted it to, or offered it to the county. The county accepted it. They recorded a document, just like we have, on our properties, okay? They didn't give us title. So those roads are truly county roads. So the process they went through, and just one more time to kind of go the history. Kaiser Aetna bought this 33 square miles in like going down in 1971, and went to the county and said, we want to subdivide this. And they went through methodically, one map after the next, after the next, after the next. The section on roads was the county standard then, okay? So the width of all of these roads wasn't determined by us. It was determined by the Planning Commission of Riverside County and approved by the Riverside County Board of Supervisors. We had nothing to do with that. Then, so this developer is building all these roads. It was, and they built 86 miles. I happened upon that number. So I don't know where the other two came from, but those were built and the county hadn't accepted them yet, okay, because it takes a long time. The road's the last thing they built, so train of thought here. Okay, so then along about 78 is when they wanted to start transferring the roads to the county. That's when Prop 13 was. And they knew Prop 13 was coming. So there's correspondence in our file between the developer, LAFCO, and the Board of Supervisors and the Planning Commission. What are we going to do? I mean, 33 square miles is a lot of land, and 86 miles of road is a lot of road. And it involves picking up the trash, very expensive, patrolling, police patrolling, 33 square miles, and then maintaining all these roads. So they knew that if Prop 13 hit it, the county couldn't take this. So they said, so what are we going to do? So they hurriedly came up with a tax district, or the developer wanted a CSD, because a tax district would have been exactly the same as what you see here, but U5 wouldn't be sitting there. there'd be a county bureaucrat sitting in Debbie's seat and spending your money and being able to tax you. So the LAFCO board agreed with staff and went with a tax district. The developer took it through their board member and they convinced the 5 board supervisors that if the people were going to be taxed, because that it was clearly, that's all they wanted this district for, was that tax money, the extra tax money. And so the board overturned the staff recommendation, and that's why you're here. Otherwise, this meeting would be held in Riverside Building. You'd be paying, and some bureaucrat spending your money, okay? So,
You should write a history book.
right, yeah. But we have it all in our files, but so then what they did is they created this district, and they then, over a period of about 5 years, took sections of roadways, okay, and accepted them, but did not accept them into the county maintenance, okay? Because the next step was when they accepted them, they then transferred them to the CSD for maintenance. We don't own those roads. Those are county roads. This is no different than if the county, for some reason, wanted a road department with orange trucks like they have today, and another department, you know, east or west or something like that, and they have white trucks. We're nothing more than their road maintenance department for these roads. We go out of business, they still own those roads. And they say, well, we wouldn't maintain them, or we would, that's baloney. They've got, the title isn't gonna change. They own them. So that needs to be made clear, Cyrus. And then the question is that the statement that our roads are inferior. They're not inferior at all. They were designed by the county using the county standards. And they were inspected by the county, and the county accepted them after making sure that those roads were up to county standards. So the roads we took over for maintenance purposes are inherently county standard. It's not some inferior road, because that's where she's going with this, I believe, Cyrus, is, well, you can't use gas tax money for inferior roads. Wait a minute. Our roads are the same as everywhere in the state of California. Because the next thing, then I'm talking to Ron. Ron, what are our standards, us, the district? How do we maintain these roads? What's in our code? What's in our code is we have the green book, okay? That's a nationwide, all the cities use it. Riverside County uses it. We use it. So when he's analyzing repairs or whatever, it's per the green book, and people in Massachusetts are using the green book, okay? But, and I had thought about this, when you incorporate a city, at the first city council meeting, that I did 2 of them, it's hours and hours, you have to adopt the county code. Because when you become a city, it cancels out. You're no longer governed by the county laws, you're governed by your city laws. We're unincorporated. We're just county unincorporated. So the entire county code applies to us. And that's what we've been using over the years, which is what Ron confirmed, that he's gonna send me a memo tonight or in the morning, Cyrus, which I'll get to you. We use the same code they use. Because we're part of unincorporated Riverside County. So all of their standards, anytime they amend them or whatever, they apply to us. Now, they don't apply to people in Temecula, because that's a city. But all the unincorporated area is governed by the county code. So the fact we happen to be a road district, we still have, you couldn't overturn that. I didn't realize that this board, if they said, oh, that's junk, let's make our own, I don't think we could. because we don't have the legal basis to do that. We're governed by the county. So that's the answer, that our standards have been, are, and always will be County of Riverside standards. So when the county starts this junk about how bad our streets are compared to theirs, it's not true. So anyway, that's what I learned. And so I thought, well, I was gonna call you and I ran out of time here. Everybody got a little education here, especially this bit about our standards. It's the same. Oh, and the other thing you want to know is pavement management index. We're 66.7 and Riverside County is 67. And we had Paver before the County of Riverside. Paver is the company, it's the federal standard, and they bring a big truck and now everybody does it. But this board in 17 decided, let's see what the condition of our roads are. And also I'm sending you the executive summary showing that 67, and I've notated on there, Riverside is 60. We're 1 point apart. And so we did this, which was more or less cutting edge, technology 10 years ago or whatever. And the county, I think, did it 3 or 4 years ago. So they're just now getting on board. We've been on board at least half a decade ahead of them. So anyway, we've got to, because I know if we can make her a believer, which I think this documentation will do that, but I think she needs that for her other senators who are going to ask the same questions. Who are these people? And we're so unique because basically they didn't know what to do after Prop 13, so they thought the CSD was the answer. The Master Homeowners Association became the choice, statewide. They decided not to go this way, to just have like all these sub associations in a big, huge wide area and put a master association for the roads, the gates, and that sort of thing. So you've got to convey that tomorrow, Mr. Cyrus. So I'm sending you a package of that. And we can talk in the morning or whatever if you want, but.
What time is the meeting tomorrow with her?
1 p.m. Plenty of time.
Okay, good. Okay, good.
Yeah. I have a little light reading in the morning, it sounds like.
Just a little. Yeah.
Yeah, it's mostly just documents, and I've tried to circle on them and stuff, so, you can kind of whip through and see. But they created us, and then they had to give us the full authority under the Streets and Highways Code as if we were them. And so that was the first document, and then a few years later, it came back, something must have come up, and then they named the district,
Santa Rosa.
oh, remember too, we used to be Santa Rosa, all these documents say Santa Rosa, we weren't Duluth yet. Something of streets, guardian of streets or something like that, pursuant to Streets and Highways Code. So they granted us all the county's authorities under the Streets and Highways Code. So we are really just their agents. They did not give us these roads. So when senators are asking Melissa, well, why would Riverside County think they should get gas tax? If they had just made us a department, they'd have the gas tax. It's their road. They just created us to maintain it. But we don't, our citizens don't have any right to that real estate. It belongs to the county. Anyway, you think you can use that to sell the deal?
I'm sure I will. I'm sure glad it's just documents because everyone knows how easy it is to read those. Yeah. So, yeah. Well,
Okay.
I'll yeah, as soon as the meeting's over, I do have to get on the road tomorrow, so I might not get a report to you until Friday, but I'll give you a thorough debrief. as soon as possible.
Okay, good, very good. All righty, thank you very much for all
Thank
the
you.
positive news. Have safe travels. Take care.
Thank you.
All righty, moving along. Agenda item E.
Yeah, question.
Oh, certainly.
Hey, Jim, what is La Cresta?
It's a neighborhood, you know.
No, I know what it is. What are the roads that owns them and who maintains it?
There is another CSD that was created about the same time. And Kanaha.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
Okay, La Cresta is just a normal, regular neighborhood.
Right.
Okay, it's not part of any.
Okay.
It's Tanaha that has some streets and,
So that's a CSD?
it is, and it was formed right around the same time as us.
So we're not the only CSD that has roads.
They have 3 roads.
Yeah, it's very little. Yeah, they only have like part-time staff
Okay.
and, they contract everything out. And I guess in theory, they could piggyback up,
Right.
but, yeah, and there's a lot of CSDs that have roads,
Okay.
but they're private. So those roads belong like to their HOA or whatever. The Riverside County did something very unusual, the way they set this up. And that's what makes this unique. So, because when we first started this 5 years ago or whatever, I got a lot of calls, through CSDA.
Uh-huh.
And, oh, yeah, we want all this free money, and then I just say, you have gates? That was question number 1. Oh, yeah, we do.
Sorry.
Yeah, your private streets.
Yeah.
And then some don't have gates, but then later they would just call back and say, you check our roads. So the county never took the real estate of the roads for those people, from the developer.
It just seems strange that a CSD could manage roads that are private. Doesn't sound like that's possible.
Let me think, they can't.
No, they can't.
No, so the HOA actually maintains the road.
Right. So what's
And
the CSD do?
CSD is for some other purposes.
Not the roads.
Right,
Okay.
yeah,
Because the thing we kept saying was that we were unique.
Yeah.
In terms of roads. So these, whatever that name is, the crest or whatever, they don't have a CSD that maintains the roads.
yeah, La Cresta is a
No,
neighborhood.
I'm talking about.
Tanaha,
Right.
yeah, they have like 3,
Yeah, they're not very long, like their assessment fees are like $22 an acre and that's it.
So it is a CSD
It is.
that does have the roads that is related to the county.
right.
So those are not private roads, those 3 roads.
They could probably get gas tax,
Okay.
but they never really, we've talked early on,
Right.
and they never got.
For 3 miles, I'm not sure that.
I was gonna say, like financially.
Right, that I think is where they're at.
$200.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was talking about, well, you could joint venture the cost of the bill with us,
Right. Yeah.
and that's when I didn't get a call.
Right,
That's what they said,
exactly. Their checkbook is a.
Crestas roads, I believe, are much newer, and they have the horse trails, and that association was set up completely different
Okay,
than
yeah.
how this was. So, yeah, if you go to the Tanaha roads and the La Cresta roads, you'll see a difference.
Oh, okay, yeah,
The county roads are, and the La Cresta roads are really nice.
yeah.
Thank you. Some really good information. Speaking of information, agenda item E, information only. And this is intended again for information only. The financial statement of the investment policy. Any comments or questions, board members?
No.
No, okay, we'll go ahead and move on. Our usual agenda F, consent calendar. This includes minutes of the January 17th, 2024 regular board meeting. General fund claims for January 2024, sheriff special tax claims for January 2024, and there were no purchase orders. Any questions, directors? If not, motion to approve. A second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor, Bowman,
Aye.
Carol.
Aye.
D'Alessandro.
Aye.
Rawson. Aye. Roberts, aye, unanimously approved. Thank you, everyone. Okay, moving on, G, changing hours of the engineering committee meeting. Jen?
This is really just a housekeeping item. In a past meeting, the committee, engineering committee discussed the time of day, I guess, and determined that it's easier for everybody at this time to do it at noon as opposed to 3 o'clock. So this resolution would accomplish making that meeting same day for the week.
Alrighty. Okay, so before us is approval of resolution 24-02, changing hours of the engineering committee meetings to 12 noon. Any questions, directors?
No.
Motion to approve.
Motion.
Okay, second? Second. Okay. All in favor of Bowman?
Aye.
Carol?
Aye.
D'Alessandro? Rawson?
Aye.
Roberts, aye. Unanimously approved. Thank you, everyone.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
If they were to change the day from the second week to the third week, would you need a resolution?
Yeah.
We should hold it after the meeting.
All right, we'll look forward to it.
Temporarily, we've done that. We tried it a couple months and, so anyway. But every 2 years, you do this housekeeping resolution, who's president, who's treasurer, and then you set the dates of the meeting, the time of the meeting, and who's on those committees. That's why we had to change by resolution.
Okay. Let's see, moving on, H, culvert drain repair program, Raj.
Actually, I think we're going to ask the chairman of the engineering committee. He's gonna, because of the nature of which Raj is gonna discuss and what being discussed at the committee, Mr. Bowman is going to pretty much give his engineering committee report at the beginning of Raj's presentation, so this all makes sense.
Essentially, the engineering committee meeting was covering this topic last week. And so I want to give you a little bit of background and where we're kind of headed with it. The majority of the work for this year will be centered around the culverts. And over the last 2 or 3 meetings, we've been looking at the review that was done for 700 and some culverts. We had asked Raj to prioritize those as to which ones needed work first, which were in the worst condition. And with the idea of being able to appropriate or assign the funds that we had available to doing the worst ones first and getting in as good a condition as we could, as early as we could. It went through a couple of cycles. One was just simply prioritizing all of the inspected culverts and trying to come up with the worst ones and then work our way through how much money was available to work on those. And in some of the presentations in the past couple of meetings, you've seen pictures of some of those and the type of repair. In some cases, for smaller ones, we'll be replacing the culverts. It's not practical to repair them. On some of the larger ones, they can be lined with a concrete lining that will make them usable for a number of years. In the conversation this past meeting, we had both the worst case and the largest. The largest ones are of the greatest concern from the standpoint that we can do the most damage if one of those fail. And of course, are the most expensive to repair to a large degree, particularly if we were to actually need to replace some of those. So in the review.
Sorry.
Yeah. So in the last session, we kind of combined those two lists and asked Raj to go back and prioritize based on doing the largest ones first, so that we reduce the risk of damage from those.
I haven't seen it.
But not leave out any of the smaller ones that are in such condition that they need repair quicker.
Changes everything. Where were you?
So, we're now,
So I.
Raj has been going through that. In our next meeting, we're going to review that list, and it's, I think we generally expect that that's the list that we'll present to you, to go forward with this year. And, that should put us in a position where we're at much less risk than we are today. Fortunately, this year, we haven't had any major issues. But there are some out there that desperately need work. We'll make sure we get those. So, Raj, you want to go through what you've been doing, man?
Thank you very much. Mr. Hello. All right. Hello, everyone. I'm back. Same story, awards. This is basically a 48-inch and over pipe, bigger pipes, inward lining. How we have improved. This is just, I showed you before also, this is repetition. But just in case if you want to see how we will be doing our lining, which will be our priority at this moment. And we want to start with lining work first, then we will start on replacement. Second slide, please.
Hold that one. Wait, go back. Just so everybody understands, these are what we're gonna begin with, and you were explaining it to me the other day. Basically, the concrete truck pulls up, right?
Yes,
And
okay, you want
pumps
to explain it?
concrete, consistent with this standard here, with
Correct.
the 90 degrees only on the bottom. We leave the top of the pipe alone,
Right.
and then they smooth it out, and
Yes. And then-
thereafter the water flows across the concrete.
Okay, let me go through it. All right, this is section of the pipe. Basically, the contractor will come and clean it up. So no residues left or no dirt is there or anything is there. Once that's done, and we will analyze how much damage it is. In a normal case, we will go 1/4 of the height, which is 90 degree. So you can line it up, but if it is worse, then we'll see and we'll go a little bit more higher as needed per case. And once this is done, then basically you go put chairs for your rebar or wire mesh. And then we bring truck with 4,000, I'm recommending 4,000 PSI, P gravel, with fiber reinforced in it. And once that is done and finished up, I'm also recommending to put a lining of, or you could say, corrosive paint. So it holds a little bit further longer. The pipe itself. So that's how this is going to work. And once this pipe is done, then we are going to embed concrete, the inlets and outlets. So it doesn't, wash out again underneath the pipe and we have problems. So we don't see those problems again. All right, next slide.
Simple, just the simplest way to say it is basically there's no bottom to the pipe. We're building a concrete bottom to these pipes, basically.
Right.
A concrete pad on the bottom. That's the simplest way.
Yeah. You've shown that over the last couple of months here, so yeah. Okay.
Next slide. Basically, now I will show you all the locations where all this lining will take place. And this is the primary zone. And there are, you see squares over there? Okay, those are the culvert pipes which we are going to line up. And there are total 11 of them. And some are bunched together, they're like 3 in 1 square because it's a 1 culvert, and there are 3 pipes in there. So that's how they are located. And it's on Cynthia Creek, you see the 3 squares. On Corancho, you see 2 squares. So that's how we will hit primary zone. All the locations are there, and there are total 11 culverts in there. All right, next slide.
And Raj, let me add to
Yeah,
that because I
sure.
didn't state it correctly as when I was giving the review. We were looking also at the zones and trying to take care of the primary zone, which is where the big culverts are for the most part. But we looked at doing that as a group, small and large, we had asked that we look at all culverts regardless of size, regardless of zone, which is what we were reviewing on the last session. And then we're combining those. And for the most part, we're driving towards the larger culverts in the primary zone, which is getting the most traffic and would do the most damage if they were to be damaged.
So at this moment, I'm just giving you just 48-inch plus bigger pipes. Smaller pipes, we'll talk about in later session when we finalize it. So this is zone 5. And in zone 5, you see there are, I think, 5 boxes in there. And the total culverts are 7 in zone 5. Any questions over here? All right, next slide, please. Now we're going to zone 4. In zone 4, we got 9 culverts. And you see there are, I think, 5 boxes in there. And they all are 48 plus sizes. 42 plus. Some are 42, some are 48, and few are 60 and 72 also. All right, now go to zone 3, zone 4, I'm sorry. Okay, so in zone 4, let's go to zone 4. Here there are 9 culverts. And they are marked over there in squares. Any questions? Zone 3. Over here, there's 7 culverts and 4 boxes. And they all are 42 plus sizes. And you'll be doing the inward line. This is basically phase 1 for this year. All these culverts will be done this year. Along with, we will finalize some more for replacement.
Is that, just a quick question, I'm sorry, is it this fiscal year or calendar year?
I will say fiscal year,
So by the end of June?
with no,
That's our
We're
fiscal
at a-
year.
and then
Okay.
by December, by December,
So it's a 12-month?
yeah.
Yeah, more of a calendar, I think.
All right, let's go to zone 2. You see there are 2 boxes and 2 culverts. It's a small zone. All right, next slide, please. Zone 1. There are 5 culverts total. And 3 boxes in there. The bottom has got 3. There are 5 culverts in there. And the rest over there. All right, any questions on this location? Nothing more to add, Chuck?
I don't think so. I think you covered it very well. The focus on the primary roads was really where we were headed before
Correct now.
the last
Yeah,
section.
we did change it.
And the importance of getting these big ones taken care of, I think, is really overpowering where we were. But we'll review the
Yeah.
list. Out of the 700 plus culverts that are there. There's going to be what, about 70, was it? I'm sorry,
These are 41.
41 of those.
Yeah,
But I think the total was a bit larger than that
yes,
before.
because we included 30
And
and
so we're
44.
going to fewer,
Yes,
but doing the big ones, but we're still going to cover the small ones that are in desperate need. And when we've got all that accumulated, which should happen in March, then we'll bring that to you as a recommendation for the year. And of course, those are the scheduled, that's the scheduled work that we'll be doing, and there's still additional road patching and whatnot that goes on as an as-needed basis.
all right, next slide would be regarding our emergency pothole repair work.
Okay.
All right, next slide, please. And let's start from the top. This is the bottom one. There you go. emergency road repair work, Cynthia Creek Drive. We got a couple of complaints, including Chuck's complaint. And it was very reasonable. And when we went over there, you see how the potholes are, they were huge and big. And this is not just one, there are 3 in this road. And a couple of more down south of the same section. Okay, next slide, please. This is when we found it, we placed traffic control for the traffic to move around. And next day, I think, one of the contractors, Marietta, right? That he calls Jim directly and they sort it out, and next morning, the crew was here doing repair.
And you said you haven't done your guys haven't put up enough signs or something like that. And I said, oh, well, thanks for letting me know, I'll get right on that. But since it's raining, what are you doing? You feel like patching that thing? And sure enough, 2 days later, they patched it for us.
All right, this is one of the grinded section of the road where the pothole was. And the problem over here, what I see is the crocodile cracks you see on the surface. And basically it is telling that the road is going to fall apart. Once you start grinding it, where you stop, we don't know, because it still keeps on falling apart. So, and you see the lot of water over there. We try to dry it. Next slide, I will show you how we dry it. We use lime and cement to absorb whatever surface water was there. That was the best we could do in that situation. All right, next slide, please. Okay, the guy is blowing and there's a torch, there is a torch in the back. One guy is blowing up, blowing all the water out from the crocodile cracks. And the guy behind it is torching it, so it dries out. It was a little difficult, but we did it. And what they are doing over here is, since we didn't know where to stop, and even though we fixed the pothole, there will be next pothole, we just do it because of the crocodile cracks. They were so bad. So we decided to have a skin patch on it. It's just a layer to fill up all the voids in there and just have a half-inch skin patch on top of it, so it doesn't stop, or it stops corroding. Not corroding,
In the
but eroding.
foreground is the patch of the pothole. So once they got that patched, then they just continued along with the skin patch to seal up as best they could all the alligator cracks.
So it doesn't erode, the road doesn't erode again. Yeah, just to stop it, it's temporary fix, not a permanent fix. All right, what they're doing over there, they're putting the tack coat once it's dried out. And this is how they did the skin patch. Next slide. He's rolling over for the compaction. Next slide. You see at the bottom? You see the whole thing, skin patch, and you see the guy standing with the shovel? Just before that is the patch. We fixed it. And we continue further up with the skin patch. So it looks uniform. Next slide. See the condition of the road. Those are the patches. Since we didn't have enough asphalt, and they were small patches, so we filled it up. We couldn't do anything else. So next slide. Okay, this is south of Carancho on Cynthia Creek, where there was a big, huge pothole on the side. And our crew tried to fix it with a cold patch. You see cold patch lying there in the top one, which was removed in the bottom. If you see the bottom photo, it is removed and the guy is drying out the whole section. Next slide. This is the final product we got. With the skin patch. Skin patch goes all the way up. I think that's the end of it.
So that was a week ago Saturday.
Sorry.
And we have at least another day's work, right?
Oh, yeah, it's done.
So, how many, 22 tons of asphalt?
This one is 22 tons and upcoming would be at least 2 loads, at least.
How many tons?
We said 15 per load, so
30 more tons to go. So we have budget for this, for maintenance or repairs, and that's what we're doing, right now.
I tell you, I have, I mean, all of us have driven on roads that have deteriorated and waited weeks, months before they were fixed. I have never, ever seen the kinds of potholes we had fixed immediately. So I mean, I have to say that your response was dramatic and incredible. In fact, I drove on that road and saw the potholes and said, I got to go tell them about it. And then I came back and there were cones. And I said, well, I don't know when they'll get it done because they have to wait for that to dry. And then I drove again and it was done. So I think it's really remarkable and you deserve a lot of credit for getting that done. Only those of us that drive Cynthia Creek will fully appreciate that, but it is, or Toronto, that is truly remarkable and I congratulate you.
I should thank the contractor who called Jim, and Jim made it the other day, and things happen.
And for those of us who have been on roads like that on a motorcycle, it's.
There you go.
I avoid that in rain.
Well done.
All right,
Very
thank you.
good.
You guys are doing a great job.
Yeah, well done. Thank you. Okay, moving along, we have the road maintenance and field crews.
Thank you.
Alrighty, so we did some tree trimming on Sycamore Mesa. We had an overgrown palm tree blocking this light curve sign here. On the left, you can see palm fronds are totally in the way of the sign, and then on the right, that's what it looked like when we trimmed it back. Next slide, please. As you know, with the rain, culverts are gonna get filled up with debris and whatnot. So we went ahead and pulled our shovels out and got to work and basically undug out this culvert. Picture on the left, can't even see it. You got probably at least a foot of mud and silt and stuff. And on the right, that's what it looks like. You can finally see the pipe again, so that way water can flow. Next slide, please. Again, with the rain, you're gonna have your occasional rock mudslide. This was on View of Carroll. We went ahead and cleaned it up, so that way we don't have no drivers swerving into any other lanes, possibly causing a head-on collision. Next slide, please. With the rain, trees down all the time, softening up the soil. So it's on El Prado. Had a tree down here. We went ahead and cut it up and got it chipped up. Got that road opened back up to traffic. Next slide, please. Another tree down. This was on Sandia Creek. Same thing. Got it. We cut it up, chipped it up. So that way, again, no one will be swerving into their lane. Next slide, please. So we did some more mudslide cleanup. This was on Camino Estribo. As you see, we had our skid steer out there. It's pretty thick mud, probably about 4 inches, between 4 and 5 inches thick. So we're using our bucket basically to scrape it off the roadway and basically get it off. And then on the picture on the right, that's basically just like the wet mud stain left over. Next slide, please. Oh, that was it. Any questions for you guys?
There was a mudslide on Sandia Creek from a driveway.
Oh, yes.
And who took care of that?
The owner did. I was
You got on that guy real fast.
Yeah, I actually drove over there and he was already out there cleaning it up. So,
Well, again, gentlemen, well done. Thank you very much.
Hey,
Keep
no,
the
no,
road safe.
Mr. Nick, I just remembered this. Weren't you supposed to give a report that I assigned to you last
You
week?
actually wanted me to give you a report?
Yeah, he came in Friday, because he was alone. And he showed me on his phone.
Oh, the washout?
This washout he handled completely by himself. Tell us about that. What did you do that day?
We just drove by on TJ's Thursday. Oh, it says he works Friday, or I work that Friday, he's off. And then we drove by and noticed a big hole in the ground. So then he asked if I would be able to handle it by myself the next day. I told him I felt very confident. So then I just went to the yard, filled up the dump truck with some dirt, went back, put the first load in, saw him take, compact it all, went back to the yard, got some more dirt, came back, filled it up again, and then starting to wash out a little bit at the top from these last couple of rains we got, but that's pretty much it. We got a little more dirt on top, but.
I was very impressed. He's showing me these photographs. I'm like, you did all that by yourself.
Where was that?
That's Via Vaquero right past, Veronica.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a picture of you guys there if you want to see, but.
Yeah, thank you.
Hard job.
Thank you very much. Well done, gentlemen. Okay, let's see. Okay, committee reports. Obviously, we took care of engineering, finance committee.
Yes, we met yesterday, and we've already reviewed the general fund. We don't have to make any comments about that. We discussed an updated roadway rehabilitation spreadsheet that was a part of the, did you include that in the?
Yes, it's in the board.
Okay, so you can take a look at that. And it just shows the, each of the sections and the amounts associated with those sections in terms of dollars. I don't have the budget in front of me. You can take a look at it. The other thing we talked about was the fact that we now have the interest on our T-bills coming in. The expectation is that there would be over a year, approximately $120,000 to $140,000 in interest. Compared to $20,000, that's not bad. And even now that the rate has gone up to 4%, we're still doing better at 5.25%. And I know Teresa's going to keep an eye on that. And if lake continues to go up and approaches or increases the T-bills, we prefer to be in that because it's more liquid. And so we may not necessarily continue with the T-bills if the interest rates in lake go up. We also discussed options to pay down the CalPERS essentially loan. We're going to have a meeting next month and talk to somebody from CalPERS who's going to go over the rates and how we might pay that down. And also we're going to have a person who had given us a report back in 2016, again, talk a little bit about that and see to make sure that the information we have is correct and we'll be able to pay off the unfunded liability we have to the CalPERS in a reasonable amount of time without too much hardship in terms of on our budget. It looks like we'll be able to do that. And as we get more information, we'll let you know about that. I think that's really about it. Anything else?
That's basically what we discussed.
That's our report.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, let's see, the legislative committee. Obviously, you heard from Cyrus at the beginning of the board meeting here, so you're up to date with the rest of the information on the SB 1173, and of course, all of this interesting information in terms of the organic waste. I thought that was quite interesting. So right now, nothing to report, and hopefully on Friday, we'll get that input from Cyrus in terms of Melissa White. We'll go from there in terms of the next one.
I do have one thing. I did talk to Chuck Washington, who is running for supervisor and will be supervisor of our district soon. And he was aware of the legislation and said that he would support that. So just to let you know, that was the comments he made to me.
Good, good. In fact, I was just commenting to Jim yesterday that he certainly is doing a lot of legwork in terms of his campaigning, the number of flyers in the mail
in the mail.
And yeah, quite a bit. And I know that's not a very inexpensive process there. So anyhow, so he's really working the system right now. So good for him. All righty, very good. Okay, moving on. Agenda K, Jen, General Manager's Report.
I think I've covered most everything on my plate right now. I did want to check, we're thinking, when the legislative committee and Cyrus and all, of having like a legislators date, I think, where they would come update the district, would be Washington, Sayarto, and Sanchez are. And also it helps promote the gas tax bill and all that. Be similar to that event that the Women's Club had with the Supervisor Jeffries, but that we would sponsor. And so we're thinking about the Thursday is the best because they're back from Sacramento. Something like around 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Maybe at the same location as the Jeffries event. Anyway, is everybody in town? Anybody going on a cruise or anything
In
in
May.
May?
No.
Say the first 3 weeks of May?
No.
That you know of anyway. I just didn't want to plan something and find out that everybody's cruising or
No.
something.
Not yet.
Yeah, okay. So anyway, just, I'm just starting to put that together now. And so I'll keep you informed, you know, how that comes together.
Yeah, we were looking at, if I may just real quick, we were looking at some of the calendar here. But anyhow, I think it was Thursday, the 9th, the 16th. We were looking at those 2 dates. So, but like I told Jen, let's, first get in touch with these particular individuals because we will, a lot of the focus is going to be on them.
Right.
But it will be somewhat similar to what we did back in February in 2020. And so it's, kind of a meet and greet situation, also an opportunity for these respective individuals, any giveaways, or updated information flyers or whatever. But we even had Bruce there at that time, the sheriff's right there.
Right.
So there'll be some other kinds of representation there as well. And so, and I believe that year we did coffee and soft drinks and desserts, and something that people can kind of walk around and hold on to. And then we just had regular seating and where we're going to be doing the presentation. So anyhow, so that's what we're just kind of taking a look at right now, but really important to talk to those folks so we can get.
I'll do that next. I just wanted to make sure all of us are gonna be in town.
Yeah.
And then I'll start calling their offices and try to find it.
It's possible I might be out of Jim. I'll check on my schedule and get back.
Okay, let me know.
Thank you. Thank you. Last but not least, forward.
I wanted to follow up on my report from last month, and since I did a little bit of additional research, we were talking about the Taxpayer Protection and Government Accountability Act, which is an initiative that's proposed to be on the November ballot. And among other things, it eliminates the requirement that a citizen initiative can pass by a simple majority and makes it 2/3. So, but as early as late September 2023, the governor and the legislature sued or challenged it to try to keep it off the ballot. And what's been going on now, which is the normal type of briefings and by different sides. And what I understand is that the briefing is complete and that the people that are following it within our firm are saying that they expect a decision out in March or April.
What do they think the decision will be?
They don't know. Don't have a crystal ball.
Have these things been in the past, when these things have come up and been challenged? Have they been able to keep them off the ballot? I thought that was pretty difficult.
Yeah, I think it'd be difficult. I just don't know. There's a specific type of flaw in this one. I just don't know.
Okay,
But that's where we stand now. Hopefully I'll have more information next month.
Okay.
Or in April.
Very good.
let me ask you another question. What about the vineyard?
Check the video.
Can
you do that for us?
Yes, I will.
Will you email me and let me know?
Okay.
A little too quiet on the front. Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Okay, being no other items on the agenda here, this board meeting is now concluded and adjourned.